what is actually sitting in the bottle next to your kitchen sink right now. Tonight, 8 household names sell you clean plates while quietly hiding warnings on the back that most shoppers never bother to read. Before we dive in, smash that subscribe button and ring the notification bell, because in the next few minutes I am going to show you exactly how to read those tiny back labels like a chemist, and you will never see the supermarket shelf the same way again. Every new viewer we add makes it harder for brands to bury their quiet little secrets in fine print. So tap that subscribe, hit the bell, and let us get straight into it. Washing up liquid feels like the safest thing in your kitchen. A squeeze of foam, a wink of lemon, a clean plate at the end of it. That is the entire promise, and we have heard it since we were small enough to stand on a stool and reach the tap. But here is the uncomfortable part of that childhood promise. The bottle you reach for without thinking every single night is touching everything you eat off, every cup your kids drink from, every spoon that goes near your mouth, every pan you cook breakfast in tomorrow morning. And almost nobody reads the back. Why not? Because the front of the bottle is doing a brilliant, well-paid job of convincing you not to. Stand in front of any shelf in Tesco, Sainsbury's, Asda, Morrison's, or Waitrose and just look at the colors for a moment. Yellow means fresh, green means natural, clear means gentle, blue means powerful, a drawing of a lemon means healthy, a spray of flowers means soft, the word family on the label means trusted, a leaping bunny means cruelty-free. And tucked away at the back of every single one of those bottles, in the tiny print most shoppers never put on their reading glasses for, sits every actual warning the law requires the manufacturer to include. The shopper rarely looks. The company selling knows this perfectly well. That asymmetry is the entire business model of the washing up liquid aisle, and tonight we are going to quietly take it apart. We pulled the back labels of every major washing up liquid sitting on British shelves right now. We read the small print. We checked the allergens. We checked the preservatives. We checked the price per 100 ml. We checked who actually owns the brands behind the prettiest bottles on the shelf. And we found a pattern that, frankly, deserves a louder conversation than it usually gets. Let us count down the 8 brands and categories you should think twice about. Then I will hand you the 3 alternatives I think genuinely earn your money. Number 8, Fairy Original. Let us begin with the one that nearly every British kitchen already owns. Fairy is not really a product in this country. It is part of the furniture. The little green bottle has been next to the sink since the early 1960s, and the adverts have been selling the same warm idea for almost as long. Soft hands, kind to skin, gentle on the family, one drop that lasts and lasts. Turn the current bottle around, though, and the picture quietly changes. On the label sitting in Tesco, Sainsbury's, Morrison's, and Waitrose right now, Procter & Gamble list preservatives from the isothiazolinone family alongside phenoxyethanol, fragrance, and the allergens limonene and linalool. Then comes the warning the front of the bottle never mentions itself. Causes serious eye irritation. Harmful to aquatic life with long-lasting effects. And right under that warning, written in the manufacturer's own words, sits the line contains methylisothiazolinone, may produce an allergic reaction. Pause on that for a moment because it matters. The brand that built an entire personality around being gentle is the same brand the law requires to print that it may produce an allergic reaction. The advert says kind to your hands. The label says may produce an allergic reaction. Same bottle, same shelf. There is real history here, and it puts the whole thing in perspective. Methylisothiazolinone was named Contact Allergen of the Year back in 2013 by the American Contact Dermatitis Society, PubMed. And EU rules around it in leave-on cosmetics were tightened in 2015 because reaction rates were climbing fast, DermNet NZ. If you have spent years drying out your hands at the sink and quietly blamed it on getting older, That little line on the back of the bottle is worth a long, careful look tonight. The same is true of your parents, by the way. The washing up liquid your grandparents used after the war was largely real soap, fats and oils turned into a cleaner. What sits beside your sink today is mostly not soap at all. It is a synthetic detergent, a completely different animal in chemical terms. The category has shifted, the marketing has not, and a lot of the soreness at the sink quietly comes from that gap. Number 7. Fairy Max Power. Right next to the original sits its louder, more aggressive sibling. The bottle is upside down. The word power is stamped across the front. The entire pitch is that this version tears through baked-on grease like some kind of industrial degreaser. But the actual job it is doing is the same job every other bottle on the shelf is doing. You are still lifting grease off a plate at the end of the day. That is it. When the consumer experts at which priced these out, Max Power sat at roughly 48p per 100 ml, while plain own-brand bottles sat at around 12 to 16p for the same amount, 3 to 4 times the price for essentially the same work, simply because the branding is louder and the bottle looks tougher. Flip it over and you find the same surfactant family, the same fragrance elements, and a broadly familiar preservative story. You are not buying a better product. You are paying extra for the word power and a fancy cap that lets you feel like you are wielding something advanced when you wash up. You are really just holding a clever bottle of the same fairy you were already going to buy. The entire upgrade is the adjective. Number 6. The antibacterial aisle. Number 6 is not one single brand. It is an entire category built on a fear that the consumer experts quietly say is not necessary in ordinary washing up. Walk down the aisle and every chain has its own antibacterial version, from Fairy to Aldi to Tesco to Boots, plus the eco-inspired brands and the designer-led brands. They all shout the same number at you, 99.9% of bacteria killed. It makes the kitchen sound like a hospital operating theater. Here is what the testing experts at which say about that claim, and they have been testing this exact category for decades. There is no need whatsoever to buy a special antibacterial washing up liquid to clean your plates. A standard washing up liquid already handles bacteria in the same way that ordinary soap and hand wash do. The antibacterial pitch adds fear, not function. And here is the part that gets under my skin. If you actually read the small print on many of those antibacterial bottles, the big kill rate is largely about the sponge after you have finished, not about sterilizing your dinner plate. The magical 99.9% figure is really about the damp little rectangle sitting in the corner of your sink, not your forks and cups. The front of the bottle shows you a clean family. The back of the bottle quietly qualifies the whole promise. If a clean sponge is genuinely what you are worried about, the which answer costs nothing at all. Give the sponge a thorough scrub after each use. Rinse it out properly. Let it dry fully. Swap it out regularly. No special bottle required, no extra pounds per wash, no theater. They have taken the most basic chore in the entire house, washing a plate, and bolted a germ scare onto the front so they could charge a small premium for the privilege. That is not cleaning. That is packaging anxiety in a colorful bottle and calling it hygiene. Number 5. The supermarket own brands. Number 5 is the quiet one, and the quiet ones often deserve the loudest scrutiny. Tesco, Sainsbury's, Morrison's, Asda, the unbranded, bargain-priced bottles on the bottom shelf. The plain packaging is doing a job on you. Simple design, no badge, no claim, no boast. Your brain reads honest, basic, sensible, nothing to hide. And plain packaging really does feel like quiet honesty. But turn these humble-looking bottles over and you often find the same architecture sitting behind the label. Anionic surfactants, fragrance, the declared allergens limonene and linalool, frequently a preservative carrying the same eye irritation warning we just saw on the much bigger brands. Cheap on the front, standard chemistry on the back. Then there is the lemon trick, bright yellow liquid inside, lovely lemon picture on the label. Your brain instantly reads lemon as fresh, natural, almost edible, sunny, innocent. On most of these labels, however, the word lemon is not an orchard somewhere. It is a fragrance, and that fragrance pulls the declared allergens right along with it. Fruit on the front, chemistry on the back, every single time without fail. The bargain bottle may be brilliant at lifting grease. It is not necessarily the simple ingredient story you assumed in the aisle. The cheapness is real. The minimalism is a color palette, not a formula. If anything in this video has earned a reaction from you, drop a comment right now telling me which washing up liquid is sitting at your sink this week. Is it one of the 8 we have just talked about? Is it something I have not mentioned? Your comment gives me real material for the next video and helps thousands of other viewers who are wondering exactly the same thing. I personally read what you write. Now back to the list. Number 4, method. Number 4 is the one that does not even look like washing up liquid when you pick it up. It looks like something a wellness influencer sketched in a loft apartment. Sleek teardrop bottle, muted designer colors, the whole vibe of a cool little rebel eco brand with strong opinions about plastic. 2 things you should know before you put it in your basket. First, Method's own ingredients list still declares synthetic fragrance, along with the usual allergens. The pure, clean image on the front and the fragrance chemistry on the back are quietly telling 2 different stories, just like every other bottle we have pulled apart tonight. Second, and this one genuinely surprises most people in the comments whenever I raise it, Method has been owned by SC Johnson since the late 2010s. SC Johnson, the household giant behind Raid, Pledge, Glade, and many other major chemical lines. That little independent-looking eco brand on your draining board. Your money is traveling straight to one of the largest household chemical corporations on the planet, SC Johnson fact sheet. That is not a rumor or a guess. The company itself announced the acquisition publicly, and the deal closed in the months that followed. The packaging is built to make you feel like you have quietly opted out of the corporate world. The boardroom balance sheet tells a very different story, and only one of those stories ever makes it onto the front of the bottle. This is not a complaint about how Method cleans. It is a complaint about who exactly is enjoying the warm glow when you buy into the underdog aesthetic. You deserve to know whose hands the money ends up in before you decide whose story you want to believe. Number 3, Ecover. Number 3 is where the eco crowd starts to feel uncomfortable, and rightly so. Ecover is a genuinely decorated British eco brand. It was, in fact, the first washing up liquid manufacturer to win the official EU ecolabel here in the UK. The bottle is covered in green badges and plant-based claims. The marketing is built around biodegradability, ethically sourced formulas, and quietly better chemistry than the mainstream giants. You would naturally assume the back label is spotless. But across current listings, Ecover's own standard washing up liquid still declares methylisothiazolinon and benzisothiazolinon on the back, the very same preservatives we found on the back of the mainstream giants earlier in this very video. They are declared openly. Nothing is hidden, and credit to the brand for that honesty. Regulation requires disclosure, and Ecover discloses. But the lesson is the same as it has been at every single step of this list. A reassuring green leaf on the front does not automatically mean the ingredient your hands react to has gone anywhere. A beautiful bottle and a strong ingredient list can absolutely live on the same product, and the consumer's job is to notice when they do. That is not a reason to bin Ecover and never look at it again. It is a reason to scan the back before you fall in love with the front, on every product, every time, from every company. Number 2, Ecoleaf by Suma. Number 2 is going to break a few hearts, and I want to be gentle about it, because the company behind this bottle is genuinely admirable. Ecoleaf is made by Suma, a long-standing British worker-owned cooperative. Vegan Society logo, Leaping Bunny, ethical consumer best buy, recycled bottles across the range. People order this in bulk specifically because they are trying to do right by the planet, the workers who make their products, and the animals never involved in testing them. And on those points, they really are doing right. Turn the citrus version over, though, and you find benzisothiazolinone sitting alongside the perfume and the allergens, with the warning contains benzisothiazolinone, may produce an allergic reaction printed on the packaging. Older batches of the formula leaned on a sodium lauryl sulfate base and a different preservative, but the family of concern is the same one we have been flagging at every step of this list. This is the hard truth of the category that we have to face tonight. Brilliant ethics in the boardroom do not change what your skin actually meets at the kitchen sink. A lovely reputation and a problem ingredient can absolutely coexist on a single product, and skipping the back label because you trust the brand is the easiest mistake in the world to make. It is also the most expensive mistake to keep making, in dry hands and cracked fingers, year after year. Number 1. The bottles that quietly change. Number 1 is actually the most useful lesson in the entire video. So if you only take a single habit away tonight, please make it this one. Some of the most loved British brands, including Faith in Nature, the much-admired independent maker, have quietly changed their formulas over the years. Older batches of Faith in Nature washing up liquid listed methylchloroisothiazolinone and methylisothiazolinone on the back of the bottle. The current formulation on their own website is now preserved with potassium sorbate instead, free from harsh sulfates and from parabens, Faith in Nature. In this particular case, that is a brand quietly making its formula better. Genuinely good news and credit where credit is due. But the lesson carries the other way as well. Recipes change, sometimes for the better, sometimes for the worse. The brand name on the front of the bottle is not a guarantee of the formula sitting inside it today, this month, this year. The only thing on earth that tells you the actual truth tonight is the back label of the actual bottle in your actual hand. Not the brand's reputation, not the advert you remember from 7 years ago. Not even a video you happened to watch last year, including this one if a year has passed and reformulations have rolled through. Turn it round, every single time, even and especially the brands you trust the most, because those are the very brands you tend to stop checking. Reputation is a memory. The back label is the receipt. Tonight and every night after this, please do the boring adult thing and read the receipt before you trust the memory. The bonus pick, Aldi Magnum. Before we move on to the better alternatives, one quick honorable mention to Aldi's Magnum, which rated it a best buy at one point and called it about as good as you can buy for the money, outperforming Fairy on cleaning at roughly half the price. So if your only goal is to shift the grease from a plate at the lowest realistic cost and your hands are perfectly happy with fragrance, Magnum is a brilliant, budget-friendly choice. The familiar trap still applies, though. Some of the Magnum variants, especially the seasonal scented ones, declare those preservatives and a longer fragrance list. So turn it round, every single time, even on the cheap seats. What to reach for instead? So how do you find the good stuff in this category? Honestly, the answer is simpler than you would think, and it comes down to 2 short questions. First, how are your hands? If you suffer with dry, cracked, reactive skin, the single biggest upgrade you can make at the sink is dropping the perfume. The fragrance is doing most of the heavy lifting when it comes to irritation, and most of it is sitting on the front of the bottle in the form of fruit pictures, flower sketches, and words like fresh. Second, can you ignore the marketing on the front and go straight to the small print on the back? That is the whole game. The honest bottles tend to say "so right" on the front in plain English, rather than hiding the truth behind a picture of a lemon. Now stay with me here, because the title of this video promised you 3 better alternatives, and I want to give you brands that genuinely earn the slot. I considered dozens of options, weighed the small print on each, and these 3 are worth your hard-earned money across 3 different shopping situations. Alternative 1, Ecover Zero. The first pick is the most accessible of the 3 for ordinary shoppers in ordinary supermarkets. Ecover Zero is the brand we just talked about, stripped right back. Zero fragrance, dermatologically tested on sensitive skin, approved by Allergy UK, So you can walk into a normal supermarket and find a recognizable eco name on the shelf that has actually dropped the fake lemon perfume and the dye this time. There is a satisfying little irony in this, and I want you to sit with it for a second. The parent company on the spreadsheet is now part of the wider SC Johnson family, but the zero line genuinely is the real thing for sensitive hands. People who cannot tolerate anything scented say it is the first washing up liquid in years that stopped their hands coming out sore after a long evening of washing up. Same brand on the shelf, completely different chemistry inside the bottle. If your hands need a kinder splash and you like shopping in a normal supermarket, Ecover Zero is the new daily driver I would put by your sink. It is not glamorous. It does not smell of a tropical orchard. And that, rather wonderfully, is the entire point of it. Alternative 2, GreenSense Nonsense. The second pick is the gold standard if you want to go the whole way. GreenSense is Soil Association certified organic, and the Nonsense version is built on certified organic soap nuts and shikakai, traditional plant-based cleaners that predate the entire plastic bottle era. It is the kind of formula that would have been completely familiar 100 years ago, long before any of this got wrapped up in plastic, perfume, and reassuring little green leaves. The Nonsense version is completely fragrance-free. No perfume, no dye, no isothiazolinone preservatives, nothing sitting in the bottle waiting to set your skin off after a long evening of washing up. The honest trade-off is convenience. This is more of an order it online or grab it from an independent refill shop kind of brand than a quick supermarket trip on a Tuesday evening. But if your hands react to absolutely everything and you want the cleanest sheet of paper possible, GreenSense Nonsense is the cleanest sheet of paper I can point you to tonight. Alternative 3, Suma Fragrance-Free Rain. The third pick is for people who want the cleanest, most uncompromising mainstream option they can find without living online. Suma, the worker-owned cooperative behind Ecoleaf, publishes a fragrance-free, plant-based, allergen-aware washing up liquid within their own mainstream range. No synthetic fragrance, no isothiazolinone preservatives, a simple, short ingredient list that actually fits on the back of the bottle. Made by the same ethical company many of you already trust for tinned tomatoes, peanut butter, and household essentials. If you want a brand whose ethics and whose formula both pass the same test we applied to the 8 earlier in this video, this is the one. Suma is easy to order online, easy to find in many independent health and whole food shops across the country, and it delivers exactly what the front of the bottle quietly promises. So the 3 are these: Ecover Zero for the everyday supermarket shop, GreenSense Nonsense for the cleanest possible sheet of paper, and the Suma Fragrance-Free range for the most ethically uncompromising mainstream option. Pick the one that fits how you actually shop, not the one that wins on a billboard at the bus stop. Quick pause before the closing, and a different ask this time. If this video has changed the way you look at your kitchen shelf, share it with one person who still reaches for the green fairy without thinking. Send it in your family WhatsApp group, drop it in a text to your best friend, tag someone in the comments who always picks the prettiest bottle. Most people walking into a supermarket this week will grab the most familiar brand on the shelf and never once turn the bottle around. Your share is the difference between that person staying in the dark and finally reading the back. It takes 10 seconds, and it matters more than you will ever know. The final takeaway: let us bring all of this down to a single breath, because the whole thing really is that simple when you strip the marketing away. The adverts sell you gentleness, freshness, power, and protection. The back label, the bit written by the law rather than the marketing department, tells you about perfume, dye, preservatives, and the warnings the telly advert conveniently forgot to mention. Not poison, just a very different story to the one on the front. A story you were never really meant to read at any speed. None of this means you need to bin every single bottle under your sink tomorrow morning. It means you get to choose with your eyes wide open, instead of letting the advert quietly choose for you, while you stand in the aisle wondering if you should buy the lemon or the original again. You do not need the germ theater. You do not need to pay 4 times over for the word power. And that green leaf on the front does not excuse you from turning the bottle round. None of those promises override the law printed in tiny font on the back. The trick from tonight onwards is a single habit. Pick up any washing up liquid, anytime, anywhere, and read the back before you trust the front. That is it. That one habit, done consistently, shifts the entire balance of power back to the shopper and away from the marketing department. It also protects your hands, your family, and your wallet, all at the same time. Most shoppers never bother. You, after this video, are no longer most shoppers. You are now the awkward customer who reads the back of the bottle in aisle 4 while everyone else queues behind you. Lean into it. Thank you for staying with me through this one. If it opened your eyes even a little, scratch that like button one more time, share it with a friend who still needs to hear it, and tap subscribe if you have not already, because the next video is going to pull apart another everyday shelf product you have been quietly trusting for years, and you really do not want to miss it. And before you go, drop me a comment with the specific bottle currently sitting at your sink. Real brand, real product, real experience. I read every single one, and the responses genuinely shape what gets made next on this channel. Your kitchen sink is real-world evidence, and I take it seriously. Until next time, keep your eyes open, keep turning those bottles round,